This might not be familiar to you, but behind the trillion-dollar oil empire of the United Arab Emirates lies a hidden traditional life that no one has ever expected. First, you enter a green oasis, where date palms cover ancient water channels and cool streams still feed farms. Beyond that, shade, grey mountains guard Bronze Age beehive tombs, which are the silent proof of settlement 5,000 years old. At the desert edge, red dunes climb like walls under brutal sunlight, then fall into the empty quarter's vast interior. On a northern lagoon, oysters grow beside mangroves reviving pearl craft, once tied to dangerous free diving. In Abu Dhabi's desert Bedouin coffee dates and camel meat show the traditional hospitality under the fierce heat. Oil seaports and a modern vision have transformed the United Arab Emirates into a Gulf power. But it's the hidden aspects of traditional life that the news and other documentaries almost never reveals. You are standing beside the desert, which is called Empty Quarter, the largest continuous sand desert on Earth. Vast dunes stretch across the horizon. There are no roads, towers, or permanent rivers. The silence feels enormous here. Wind moves across the surface with nothing to stop it. The desert was born from ancient seabeds, dried lakes, broken rock, and river sediment carried across Arabia for thousands of years. Strong desert winds gathered those grains, slowly pushing them into massive dunes that continue moving even today. Then you reach Morib Dune. The wall of sand climbs more than 300 meters into the burning sky. From below, it looks impossibly steep. The engines of off-road vehicles struggle against the loose surface, while spectators watch from distant ridges. During sunset, the dune turns deep copper red beneath drifting shadows. The scale overwhelms everything around you. Far beyond Morib Rub Al Khali expands into pure wilderness. Dunes roll across the desert in every direction, divided by pale, gravel plains and dry salt flats. Heat rises from the ground in trembling waves. At noon, the horizon begins to distort under the pressure of light and temperature. Yet life survives here with astonishing duration. The Arabian oryx crosses the dunes with white fur reflecting sunlight away from its body. It can survive long periods with almost no water. Its sharp horns stand against the desert, like carved ivory. The Arabian sand gazelle moves faster and lighter. You may glimpse it at dawn. They feed briefly before the heat becomes dangerous. Every movement conserves energy. Then, night arrives and the Arabian red fox emerges quietly between the dunes. Large ears release body heat into the cold desert air. While hunting insects and small reptiles beneath moonlight, its paws leave narrow trails across untouched ground. For local Bedouin communities, Liwa represents endurance, survival, and freedom beneath an unforgiving sky. Families still gather here during desert festivals, camel races, and seasonal traditions connected to their ancestors. Amidst the desert sun, Bedouin cuisine is simple yet practical. A meal here often begins with Arabic coffee, poured in small cups and scented with cardamom. Grilled camel meat carries the memory of nomadic life when the camel was transport wealth, milk, and meat. Abu Dhabi rises from the Persian Gulf with glass towers, white bridges, artificial islands, and endless coastal highways. You move through the luxury financial districts beside turquoise water, the polished marinas filled with enormous yachts, palm-lined boulevards cut across the capital beneath intense desert sunlight. At night, reflections of the electric lights cover the skyline in silver and gold colors. But few people know that Abu Dhabi was once a small coastal settlement beside shallow water and scattered date groves. The Baniyas tribe settled here after discovering fresh water beneath the island during the 18th century. Fishing, pearl diving, and traditional trade sustained the early community through difficult decades of heat and uncertainty. Oil transformed the city during the 20th century, but older rhythms still survive beneath the concrete, glass, and wealth surrounding the coastline today. Then you arrive at Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque. This is one of the largest cathedrals in the world, built with rare quartz stone and decorated with real gold. White quartz stone spreads beneath the sun with extraordinary brightness. Domes rise above vast courtyards, while long reflecting pools mirror every arch and column. Inside, crystal chandeliers hang over one of the largest hand-woven carpets on Earth. Floral stonework covers the walls in delicate detail, inspired by Islamic artistry across Persia, Morocco, and Mughal India. The atmosphere feels calm, despite the immense scale surrounding you. Visitors walk quietly across polished floors, while prayer echoes softly beneath the domes. For many Emiratis, this mosque represents spiritual continuity beside rapid modernization. Elsewhere, another tradition continues through the graceful rhythm and collective memory. During the Alayala festival, rows of men stand shoulder to shoulder, holding thin bamboo sticks beneath the desert sky. Drums establish the rhythm first. Then, voices rise together through poetic chants. The synchronized movement resembles warriors advancing before battle centuries ago. You can feel pride moving through every line. Alayala transforms history into living performance without losing its ancestral spirit. No matter how wealthy they become, the people of the UAE always cherish collective strength and traditional values from times of hardship. And beyond this modern capital, our journey enters the quiet green channels of Abu Dhabi Mangrove National Park. Abu Dhabi Mangrove National Park lies beside the capital, where city glass meets tidal wilderness. You see green islands spreading through shallow channels and silver mudflats. From above, the forest looks immense. This is one of Abu Dhabi's most important coastal ecosystems. The landscape grew where calm Gulf water slowed around the shores. Fine sediment settled there tide after tide, building muddy flats, rich with salt and minerals. Mangrove roots trapped more silt, held the shoreline, and created narrow waterways. The forest keeps expanding until now. You will feel the scale most clearly by kayak. The city noise fades behind the trees and the channels tighten around you. Sunlight breaks through leaves in hard white flashes. The bird life gives the park its broad movement. Greater flamingos stand in pale groups across the lagoons, filtering food from shallow water. Western reef herons patrol the edges with sharp steps and sudden strikes. Below them, mottled crabs move between roots mud and water. This place also protects Abu Dhabi from its own speed. Mangroves store carbon-reduce erosion and soften waves before they reach the coast. They give the capital a living barrier against heat storms and rising pressure from development. The mangroves still needs better care in the future. Boats should move slowly through narrow channels, and visitors should avoid touching roots or disturbing birds. Disposing of waste into the water environment must be strictly prohibited. More native planting, strict monitoring, and public education can keep this forest alive. For local people, these mangroves represent balance beside ambition. They show that a modern capital still depends on patient natural systems. When you leave the channels, the next tide carries you north towards Sinniyah Island. Sinniyah Island lies off Al-Quwain, between the open Gulf and the quiet Khor al-Baida Lagoon. The island feels wide and exposed. This landscape formed through tides, wind, and coastal sediment moving along the Gulf shoreline. Sand gathered into bars, while sheltered water allowed mudflats and mangroves to grow. Over time, the lagoon became a nursery for birds, fish turtles, and fragile marine life. Flamingos give Sinniyah Island its most striking living image. You may see them standing in shallow water. Their pink bodies stand out against the surrounding landscape. They feed by sweeping their curved bills through mud and brine. When they rise together, pink wings cut across the lagoon with sudden power. The island also supports the Socotra cormorant, one of the Gulf's most important coastal birds. Its dark flocks gather near open water and rocky edges. They dive hard for fish, then return to crowded resting areas. Sinniyah is being protected through archaeological excavation, environmental monitoring, and restricted management of sensitive habitats. Researchers study both the lagoon ecology and the historic sites together. The future needs stricter control of construction, boat traffic waste, and visitor access during bird seasons. Mangroves, nesting zones, turtle beaches, and ruins need clear buffer areas. Local education should help people see the island as a living archive rather than empty coastal land. From this quiet island of birds and buried faith, our journey turns inland toward Dhayah Fort. Dhayah Fort rises above Ras Al Khaimah on a rocky hill between mountains, palm gardens, and the Gulf. You climb toward it through open heat and pale stone. From the top, The view stretches across date groves, villages, lagoons, and distant water. The fort still watches the coast like an old sentinel. The site carries deep occupation, reaching back to ancient settlement around Dhayah's fertile bay. Having gone through many historical upheavals, the fort that you are seeing today belongs mainly to the 19th century. It stood where high ground controlled movement between sea farms and inland routes. In 1819, local fighters resisted British forces here during a fierce siege. Its architecture is plain, compact, and severe. Golden mud brick walls rise from the hilltop, with twin towers facing the surrounding land. Its strength came from positioned thick earthen walls, clear sight lines, and the difficult climb below of the hill. Dhayah Fort represents resistance, endurance, and the Northern Emirates' fierce maritime past. It reminds about the farmers, herders, fighters, and families who were once live here. Standing here, you will feel the fierce spirit of the people of the North in defending their homeland as they fought against invasions from the sea to protect their peaceful lives. From this high watch point of resistance, our journey descends toward Jazirah Al Hamra. Jazirah Al Hamra stands in Ras Al Khaimah as the UAE's last intact pearling village. The Gulf once touched this settlement more closely. Today, its walls remain like a coastal archive left under salt wind and sun. You enter narrow lanes between coral stone houses, old mosques, watchtowers, and empty courtyards. Its architecture carries the intelligence of scarcity. Builders used coral stone, beach rock, mangrove beams, palm trunks, and palm fronds for building houses. Courtyard houses turned inward for privacy, shade, and family life. Wind towers caught moving air and pushed it into rooms before electricity existed. Thick walls cooled interiors and resisted harsh coastal heat. The village survived because people left it without completely erasing it. Modern construction passed elsewhere, while abandoned homes kept their original materials and old street pattern. Jazirah Al Hamra holds history, culture, and religious continuity in one settlement. Its mosques remind the daily worship. The village represents the dignity of pre-oil Emirati life. Bidya Mosque stands near the mountains of Fujairah, close to the Gulf of Oman coast. Its scale is humble, yet its presence feels ancient. This is one of the oldest surviving mosques in the UAE. The mosque likely dates back several centuries when coastal villages still depended on fishing, farming, and mountain routes to live. Builders used local stone, mud brick, and plaster made for the climate around them. The building seems low and grounded. Its walls feel closer to the earth than to royal display. The roof gives Bidya its rare identity. 4 small domes rest on a central pillar inside the prayer hall. The domes spread weight evenly across thick walls and simple arches. Inside, the space remains intimate. You see a simple mihrab facing Mecca, plain surfaces, and limited decoration. Light enters softly, then fades across rough plaster. The architecture directs attention toward the sacred prayer. Every surface feels touched by daily devotion. Preservation now depends on careful restoration, archaeological study, visitor control, and respect during worship times. Local authorities maintain the structure while keeping it active as a mosque. Wadi Wurayah cuts through the Hajjar Mountains of Fujairah between hard peaks, cliffs, and hidden freshwater pools. At Wadi Wurayah, you experience a rare mountain landscape inside Fujairah's Hajjar Mountains. You walk near freshwater pools, streams, springs, and a permanent waterfall. The sound of running water feels unusual in a country known for desert heat. The landscape began with the Hajjar Mountains, born from ancient oceanic rock lifted onto Arabia. Rain then found cracks, dropped through gullies, and carved channels through the high ground. Floods arrived suddenly, carrying gravel, sand, and boulders downstream. Over long ages, water opened the wadi into a chain of pools and steep corridors. You feel the scale when the canyon walls close around the stream. The rock rises above you while sunlight strikes the upper cliffs. The mountains look bare at first glance. Then the life appears. The Arabian tar moves across steep slopes with astonishing balance. Their hooves gripped the sheer cliffs with a deep abyss on one side. The tar feeds on mountain plants and survives where water remains scarce. Above the ravines, the Omani owl holds the night. Its call moves across cliffs and dry valleys after sunset. It hunts near wadis, where insects, reptiles, and small mammals gather. You can also watch dragonflies over clear pools and other birds moving across steep rock walls. Wadi Wurayah matters because it preserves freshwater life in a nation defined by heat. Its future depends on strict visitor limits, clean pools, and habitat monitoring. Let the water remain undisturbed. Let the cliffs keep their wild residents. After this living canyon of water and shadow, Fujairah Fort rises ahead in stone dust and human command. Fujairah Fort stands beside the Hajar Mountains, overlooking old settlements, palm groves, and coastal trade routes. You notice the contrast immediately. Harsh stone surrounds pockets of cultivation and human settlement beneath the fortress walls. The fort dates back several centuries and became one of the oldest defensive structures in the UAE. Local rulers built it to guard strategic routes linking coast mountains and inland communities. Tribal conflicts, regional struggles, and maritime threats all passed through this landscape. Builders used mud brick, stone, gravel, and mangrove timber gathered locally to build the fort. Rounded towers strengthened defensive visibility, while thick walls reduced heat and resisted attack. Small openings allowed controlled observation without exposing defenders. The structure adapted perfectly to the mountain climate surrounding it. Fujairah Fort survived because people never abandoned its purpose completely. The continuous restoration prevented collapse during modern expansion. Careful preservation now reinforces damaged walls using traditional materials instead of aggressive reconstruction. Age remains visible across every surface. Ajman Mangrove, also known as Al Zora Nature Reserve, spreads north of Ajman City beside tidal creeks and open lagoon water. You enter a wide coastal wilderness of mangroves, sandbars, blue channels, and quiet mudflats. The reserve covers more than 1 million square meters and shelters dozens of native and migratory birds. This landscape formed where Gulf tides slowed along a protected shoreline. Fine sediments settled into shallow water, while salt-tolerant plants held the mud in place. Mangrove roots caught more silt with every tide. Over time, the creek became a living maze of islands, channels, beaches, and feeding grounds. The grey mangrove dominates the waterline. Its roots rise through mud like breathing spikes, allowing the tree to survive salt and flooding. Along drier edges, saltbush spreads across the flats, holding sandy soil against wind and heat. The flamingo is the great emblem here. You may see pink groups standing across shallow water, feeding with curved bills in slow sweeping motions. Egrets move differently, white and sharp, stepping through the creek edges before striking at small fish. Herons wait with colder patience. They can stand still as carved wood above the tide to hunt for the fish. Local life has long depended on places like this. Mangrove creeks gave fishermen shelter fish nurseries and safe water before longer journeys. The coastal families have a great knowledge of tides, birds, shellfish, and seasonal movement. Today, the reserve provides employment for guides and kayak operators. Furthermore, families and birdwatchers consider it an ideal place to escape the city heat. You feel the place best by kayak. The channel narrows, the city falls behind, and the water carries you between routes. Bird calls replace traffic. Sunlight breaks across the lagoon, then disappears under the mangrove canopy. After this green tidal refuge, our journey turns toward Ajman Museum, where survival is preserved in walls, tools, and memory. Ajman Museum stands inside Ajman Fort, near the old heart of the emirate. The fort served as a ruler's residence, a defensive stronghold, and later a police station. Today, its rooms hold the memory of coastal life before oil. At that time, fishing, pearling trade, and desert resourcefulness once defined survival. The building dates to the 18th century and uses coral stone, mud brick gypsum, and timber. Its courtyard plan keeps rooms gathered around a protected center. Watchtowers, wine towers, narrow openings, and thick walls helped it endure the heat, the attacks, and time. Restoration preserved its old body without stripping away its age. Here, There are 3 exhibits carry the strongest weight. The Al Muwayhat artifacts include pottery and funeral jewelry linked to ancient burial practices. The old weapons display recalls defense authority and tribal responsibility across unstable centuries. For Ajman's community, the museum means much more than a collection of objects. It gives families a visible link to the ancestors, traditional crafts, and local pride. Children can see how the ancestors lived and protected one another before modern comfort arrived. Its value could reach wider audiences through stronger digital storytelling partnerships with schools and immersive sound displays. Short films about Pearling fort life and traditional crafts would help younger visitors remember deeper about the tradition. Local artisans should also demonstrate skills inside the courtyard during cultural seasons. And beyond these rooms of weapons, pearls and ancient graves, another tradition waits in timber rope and sea wind. Our journey now follows the building of the world's largest dhow. Dhow building grew from the Gulf's need for movement. Coastal families needed boats for pearling fishing cargo and trade with India, East Africa, Iran, and Arabia. Long before container ports, these wooden vessels carried dates, textiles, rice, spices, and pearls across monsoon routes. The dhow was work, shelter, and livelihood at once. The craft begins with timber selection. Builders choose long beams for keel ribs, planks, and deck supports. They worked by memory and visually observed proportions, not by printed blueprints. Each curve had to balance cargo weight, sea resistance, and safe movement through Gulf waters. At the yard, workers set the keel first, then raise ribs like a wooden skeleton. Planks are fitted by hand, tightened, sealed, and reinforced piece by piece. The precision lies in patience. A small mistake can disturb balance leakage or strength across the entire hull. In the past, dhows made Dubai a trading settlement, long before skyscrapers changed the creek. Today, the craft supports heritage tourism cargo and national pride. It proves that tradition can grow larger without losing its original language. Our path now enters Al Fahidi historical neighborhood, where old Dubai waits behind coral walls and wind towers. Al Fahidi Historical Neighborhood sits beside Dubai Creek in the older heart of Bur Dubai. This was a trading quarter built when Dubai's wealth came through boats, pearls, textiles, and merchant families. The neighborhood grew during the late 19th century when Gulf commerce pulled people toward the area. Its location mattered. Boats could unload nearby, and traders could reach the Souk quickly. The architecture is the village's strongest voice. Houses were built with coral stone, gypsum teak palm wood, and sandalwood. Thick walls softened the heat. Courtyards protected privacy. Narrow lanes trapped shade through the day. Above them, Barjeel wind towers caught moving air and pushed it down into room. That old cooling system explains why the neighborhood endured. Every wall, doorway, and tower can protect the family life from heat and dust. Restoration kept those construction is still visible, so the district still feels lived in. Daily life here now happens in the museums, galleries, cafes, and quiet majlis rooms. Artists display calligraphy, pottery, photography, and contemporary Emirati work inside restored homes. Religion remains close to the rhythm of the place. The call to prayer crosses the creek and settles into the lanes. For Dubai's people, this neighborhood protects the memory before glass towers and global finance. It recalls merchants, sailors, pearl traders, craftsmen, and also the mothers and children who lived within these walls. The city maintains this traditional value through heritage programs, guided walks, cultural festivals, and careful restoration. Museum of the Future stands beside Sheikh Zayed Road in Dubai, surrounded by highways, towers, and relentless urban motion. The museum, opened in 2022, represents the Dubai's long ambition to position itself at the center of technology innovation and future planning. Engineers designed the structure without internal support columns across much of the building. Robotic fabrication produced thousands of steel panels fitted precisely across the curved exterior. The oval form represents humanity, while the empty center symbolizes the unknown future still waiting ahead. The calligraphy contains quotes by Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum about imagination, progress, and possibility. The building itself became an exhibit, before visitors even entered. Inside, 3 exhibition spaces leave the strongest impression. OSS Hope presents a future orbital station above Earth. It combines space exploration, climate science, and resource management into one immersive environment. The Heal Institute explores ecological restoration through genetic preservation, digital ecosystems, and massive interactive species archives. Tomorrow Today displays experimental robotics, artificial intelligence, mobility systems, and sustainable technology already approaching real-world use. The museum gives Dubai a cultural identity connected to the future. Young visitors enter spaces where science, engineering, design, and imagination become emotionally tangible. For many Emiratis, the museum represents confidence that the Arab world can participate directly in shaping tomorrow's technologies. After deserts, forts, mangroves, mosques, villages, and old trading ports, the journey through the UAE ends here, where memory and ambition finally meet beneath one silver horizon. We walked through coral villages, old souks, museum rooms, boatyards, and wind tower lanes. At last, Dubai placed the future in the silver steel of the Museum of the Future. The United Arab Emirates endures because its people still protect the roots beneath ambition. And behind the oil empire, the hidden life keeps breathing and expanding. If this journey has given you deeper insights into the world, please continue to follow us by subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching, and see you on our next trips.